Welcome to Real Talk, Real Women. My name is Miriam Khalladi, and today we have the woman behind the Gracie Nationals and Gracie World Championships, a mother of three, dedicating her life to make a positive change in people's lives. Rose Gracie on the show. Welcome, Rose. How are you?
Thank you. I'm phenomenal today. Thank
Great,
you.
great. Your father, Rory and Gracie, created the UFC in 1993, modeled after your grandfather's Anything Goes fight in Brazil in the 30s. So you've always been around martial arts. When did you really realize the impact and the greatness behind it all?
You know, it's funny. When I was little, I had no idea what was going on. I just thought they just walked around wearing those white geese all the time and it was normal. I didn't realize that other people didn't have a life like that. So my mom and my dad are from the same family. They're cousins. So I was surrounded by jujitsu my whole life. Only when I got to be a lot older and that's when I started to realize that as you become an adult and you realize the impact that they have on other people. And people would come up to me and say, wow, this jiu-jitsu changed my life. And I always thought that was great, but I didn't realize it was a lot older. And I still, to this day, I come up with some stories that I'm like, wow, this is phenomenal.
Yeah, great. Somewhere online I read about your father telling you a bedtime story about jiu-jitsu, the story about the shark. Can you share it with our viewers?
Where did you find that?
On the internet.
Yeah, my grandfather, when I was little, he would tell us stories like bedtime stories. And I remember this particular story that was amazing that he would tell me how he would fight off the sharks in the ocean. And he would give a shark an arm lock. And then he went and kept swimming. And then he would give another shark, he choked the other shark. And only later in life, when they museum in Torrance, California, told the story of actually him swimming in an infested water, shark infested waters to save a man's life. And so the story was actually a lot cooler, once I realized what the real deal was behind it.
Great story. In an earlier interview, you stated that what's going on with Jiu-Jitsu today is not what your grandfather envisioned. What do you mean by that?
Jiu-jitsu is a martial art to teach people how to defend themselves, and what happens is that people have changed it so much to become to make it into a sport that it's not what it is. And, if you wanted to make a sport, you still have to keep the foundation and the philosophies of the old man in it. And what they did is that they created a point system through all the jiu-jitsu rules. And the point system is that you have a certain amount of, and then what a person scores a point. And what they do now, instead of trying to go for the submission, which is, the bottom line of jiu-jitsu, they actually hold. They hold for dear life until time runs out. And then they're the winners. And then there's also advantages, which are like you almost did something, but you really didn't do crap. And those means that you attempted to make a move, but you didn't accomplish the move, and then you get an advantage. And then once they do that, again, they hold. They hold until the time runs out. More jiu-jitsu, I didn't like watching it. I still don't like watching it to this day anymore because I felt like jiu-jitsu is gone. What we want people to do is that we want people to learn how to defend themselves. And if they want to compete against each other to show what their best skills is, then great, that's what we're going to do. So I was really frustrated with the system, and I made a big list of what I thought should happen. And as my uncle had to be a woman to make this, she had to be born a woman in this family because, I think that I wasn't afraid of it. I thought it was a much needed change and somebody needed to do it. And because I was already running some tournaments, I felt like that was a great platform for me to just kind of start these new rule sets. And they're 100% what my grandfather would have wanted. And I, resourced with a lot of the people that know a lot of his philosophies and origins and his principles, like the Valenta brothers. And I got some of the competition aspect of it from my husband. Should give people to do it, and we decided with 15 minutes. So what happens in the rules now is that each competitor has 15 minutes. If nobody submits anybody, then they both go home. And people were scared of it in the beginning. They always feel like, oh, do I have to compete for 15 minutes? I'm an old man or I'm a girl and I don't want to go for 15 minutes. You don't have to go for 15 minutes. You can submit somebody in 2.
Right.
So, yes. But there's no more, in my event, there's no there's no such a thing as the refereeing deciding who wins and who he feels that should be the winner, because a lot of things wouldn't matter for these type of rules, Brazilian or not, who your coach is, do they know, are they friends, there's conflict of interest. So it makes it, it's not very cool. So basically, I'm really happy with the rules right now. I'm super happy.
Right. And you've been working hard to bring his jiu-jitsu back to life. You launched the Gracie Nationals with new rules a few years back. What can you tell us about that?
This is just the beginning of the whole complex, how complex the situation is, with the tournament, I'm able to let people try out these rules, and I know that they're trying it out all over the world now. I get people telling me that they're trying it in China and in Japan, even in the Europe, and they're trying these rules because they're so sick and tired of the other rule set. And it was about time for a good change, and I'm very happy that I was able to start, with these change. I never trademarked these rules or patent these rules. Why I didn't do that is because I wanted people to do them. I wanted people to feel free to use them because it's for the better, for the good of jiu-jitsu. And I think everybody should be using these rules. So I tell them, use it as much as you want, as much as you can. Use these rules because I think it's the turning point that's going to teach people what the real jiu-jitsu is like. Most people are not teaching what, jiu-jitsu is MMA, and most people don't know that. People that are training MMA, it's actually jiu-jitsu, because jiu-jitsu does have the stand-up, jiu-jitsu has the takedowns, and has all the stuff that it's MMA. Except most of the schools are not teaching jiu-jitsu like that anymore. They don't teach jiu-jitsu and teach people how to defend a punch. Here in our school, we teach an entire strike-based jiu-jitsu. So basically, you always know where the punches are coming from. I should actually show you the guy's training right now.
Amazing. You're going back to the core principles: energy conservation, natural movement, and patience. On top of that, you've also been pioneering drug testing at your tournaments, right?
Much needed. And then right after the IBJJF, which is the biggest organization, started doing the drug tests too. It's important for the athlete to know that they're safe, because these things, there's just so many drugs right now going around. And I'm not testing people for weed. I don't care if they're smoking weed. I'm testing people for something that's going to enhance their performance. I'm talking about serious, performance enhancing drugs. That's my concern. It's things that are going to make them stronger than somebody else. Like, it's going to give them an unfair advantage at competition. So,
was it hard to grow up in the Gracie family and now giving back to the sport as a woman?
I don't think I ever left the sport. As I always worked at the gyms, I always did everything here. No, it wasn't hard growing up in my family. It was actually very good. I did get beat up by some really famous guys when I was little. And so I would say I would have some pretty tough matches in my life, but I was no, it hasn't been hard at all. It's very good, and I'm very happy to be a woman in this family. I actually feel like it's in my advantage, woman in this family. They always think it's more dangerous with the man in the family because you're going to get beat up by the guys, but I think the women in my family are a lot more dangerous than the guys. I would be very afraid of any women in my family, but I wouldn't be afraid of the guys.
Right. And at one point in your life, you were struggling with finding your place and calling. How did you deal with that, and when did things really change?
I just felt like, when you grow up in here, you're like, you're a child. First of all, jiu-jitsu they weren't pushing jiu-jitsu to the women as like, go for it, train hard, earn your black belt. It was basically, know how to defend yourself, enough now. Now you go do other things, because this is a guy's thing. And my grandfather's philosophy was like, a woman should heat up and cool it off in the sink. So he thought we should always be cooking and cleaning, go find yourself a husband and see you later, It wasn't really now times as a working woman and, raising children. Raising children in America is very different than raising children in Brazil. And things are different. And I felt like, I wasn't competing. I was, helping out at the gym and stuff, but I wasn't running the gym. It wasn't my gym. Now it is, but it wasn't my gym. And I never felt like I fit in. I didn't know what was I going to do and how was I going to do it. And all of a sudden, I think when you get to a certain age in your life, and you're growing up, you absorb all these things. But once you get to a certain age, I think it looks like it's a big puzzle. And I tell people that all the time. it seems like the puzzles are coming together. It seems like you're doing the things that you love, that it makes sense what you're doing, how you're doing it. Okay, these things are coming well together. So I can finally see that my puzzles are coming together. Yeah, I'm almost 40, but my puzzles are coming together now.
Amazing. And you're also mother of three. It's a different time now. What do you feel are the most important things children growing up in today's world need to learn and know?
There's a lot of things that I want to tell my kids. I was just thinking about it. Maybe I should write them a book with all the advice I have. You know, when you get to a hotel, check the bedding, make sure it's clean. Like, I wanted to just write all the advice in down paper. But I think, you know, it's very difficult in a fast-paced world like today, to be able to raise your kids to be level-headed, you know, and to be able to tell them what's right from wrong, and eventually let them go on their way and hope that they're going to make the right choices. I feel like honesty is the best key with my kids. I tell them exactly how things are, just exactly. Mom, how do kids are born? I'm not going to say it's a bird that brings them from the skies, which I have a friend of mine that does. I'm like, well, you're telling your kid that. No bird is no bringing your baby down. But I tell them exactly how it is. This is how it works. This is what a boys look like. This is what girls look like. This is how it is. And we're very open with our children, you know, and I've been actually practicing now being able to give them time. So sometimes we're so busy and we tell them, not now, not now. And honestly, I'm making an effort now to say, if they want to talk to me, I stop everything I'm doing to answer them, because I want to make sure that they know that no matter what's going on, I always have time for them. So that's, you know, it's part of raising children that, you know, with, I try also to teach them value of things, which is very important, you know, because sometimes they don't understand, you know, as growing up. My oldest one, for example, doesn't have 100% understanding of what is the success measured by. And a lot of people think success is by the amount of money you have on your bank account. And to me, success is measured about, you know, on how many people's life do I make it better. It's so much more rewarding for me to see you know, somebody being helped by something that I did, rather than, you know, something that's, you know, I can just buy somebody a gift, but it's a lot more rewarding for me to see people that don't have anything and have their lives change for something that I did.
I agree.
That's really rewarding.
Yeah, I
to
agree.
me.
Yeah, amazing. The Gracie Worlds is coming up in a few days as a part of the Santa Clara Fit Expo. What can you tell us about that?
That I'm going crazy.
I know that.
The Gracie Worlds is, you know, I felt like people wanted to win a world title to me because, like I said, my rule set, there was no world titles, it was just the nationals. And it was so important for these guys to get world titles in submission only that I wanted to run that event. You know, the Fit Expo called me up and they had an opportunity to go over to San Jose, and they asked me if I wanted to do it. And I said, fine, I'll just run the worlds there then. It was pretty simple. It wasn't too complicated. So I just did it, and you know, it's been really successful, and I'm really happy about it. You know, and every year I get better and better. I'm a perfectionist, and I'm really, really hard on myself. So I think it comes with the territory of the fact that I'm a woman, and I do have the last name Gracie, but doors open for me, but they're not as easy. I think I work harder than anyone else. I think things were a lot harder for me always than for the boys. The boys kind of get it handed to them, everything very easily. And with me, I had to work for everything I have. So, and I'm actually, the beginning of it, I thought I was pretty upset about it, but now I actually feel pretty good, you know, because I think it actually helped me become who I am today.
Absolutely. Where can people go to connect with you and learn more about you online?
Instagram, Instagram, I guess, or Twitter. I think those are the best ways because Facebook put a limit on my account, so I can't add any more people. That's terrible. We need to talk to those guys in there.
Great.
And honestly, I mean, I do all this work with jiu-jitsu because I wanted to keep my grandfather's jiu-jitsu alive, which is really the most, the core, the importance of it to me for it to happen. But all my hard work is just because I want to be able to, in the future, when this machine is running by itself, to be able to just work with charity. It's really kind of what I want to do, at the end of my life. I want to finish my life just doing that. And that's where my goal is at this point.
And you're doing such a great job, Rose.
I'm working hard on it. I'm
Yeah.
working hard on it. I'm working on the Rose Gracie Foundation. Actually, there's a organization called Kindle My Heart, and I think their website is kindlemyheart.org. And we're basically transforming Kindle My Heart into the Rose Gracie Foundation, which is actually named after my grandmother. Her name was Rose Gracie. And I don't know if you saw it online. There's some pictures of her like taking a guy down the street wearing high heels. And she is basically, she was a very, very given woman, and she was a phenomenal person. And the foundation is basically to give jujitsu to people that can't afford it and that absolutely need it for their survival, women and children. So, we are planning to take a trip to Haiti to teach these women jujitsu over there. So I'm really excited about that.
Oh,
That's like
amazing.
what makes me more proud than anything else.
Amazing is it? And I will make sure to put all your links below this video.
Okay, perfect.
Is there anything else you would like to cover today that you feel we've missed?
No, I think you look Brazilian. Where are you from?
I was born in Netherlands, but my parents are from Morocco.
That's phenomenal. You
Yeah.
look Brazilian.
Okay, thank you. You've done such an incredible job, and I just want to take a moment and applaud you for that. Thank you so much, Rose. It was great having you on the show.
No, thank you for having me.
You're most welcome. And thank you so much for watching. My name is Miriam Khalladi, and I will see you on the next episode of Real Talk, Real Women.